Hello, my dear bachas, welcome back. Today, we're going to tackle one of your chemistry chapters, Is Matter Around Us Pure? And we're going to make it super easy. I promise, by the end of this, you will feel completely confident. So don't you worry at all. Let's get started. You've got this.
You know when you go shopping with your parents, you see those packets of ghee or milk, right? And what's written on them in big, bold letters? Pure. But have you ever stopped to think, from a science point of view, is it really pure? Let's investigate this little mystery. Okay, so here's the big secret, the main point of this whole chapter, really. The word pure means one thing to us in our everyday lives and something completely different to a scientist. For your mom, pure means no malavats, right? No mixing of bad stuff. But for a scientist, something is pure only if it's made of just one single type of particle. That's it.
So here's how we're going to tackle this. Super simple. First, we'll figure out what pure actually means. Then we'll dive into mixtures. After that, we'll look at solutions, suspensions, and all that stuff. Then we'll check out what real pure substances are, have a little showdown between mixtures and compounds, and to finish it off, we'll solve a real exam question together. So you'll be completely ready. Sounds good? Let's go.
All right, so think about that packet of milk again. To a scientist, it's not pure. And you're probably wondering, why? Well, it's because milk is actually a mixture. It's got water, fat, proteins, all sorts of different things jumbled together. And because it has all these different particles, a scientist says, nope, not pure. And you know what? Most things you see around you, they're actually mixtures.
So what's a mixture then? It's easy peasy. It's when you take two or more pure things and just, well, mix them. The important thing is they don't react chemically. They're just hanging out together. Like the air we're breathing right now, that's a mixture of oxygen, nitrogen, and other gases. The soil outside, mixture. Even seawater. Yep, that's a mixture too.
Okay, so we've got the idea of a mixture down. But wait, there are two main types. And understanding this difference is, well, it's a super important trick for your exams. So pay close attention here. Okay, let me give you a yummy example. Imagine a glass of nimbu pani you made perfectly. The sugar and salt have dissolved completely, right? You take one sip from the top, one from the bottom. It tastes exactly the same. That's a homogeneous mixture. Homo means same. Simple. Now, think about a delicious plate of behel puri. You can see the murmura, the sev, the little pieces of onion, everything is separate. That, my dear, is a heterogeneous mixture. Hetero means different. You can literally see the different parts. Awesome, you're doing so well. Now we're going to get into 3 specific kinds of mixtures that sometimes confuse students. But don't you worry one bit, we'll make it super clear. We're talking about solutions, suspensions, and colloids. So first, let's talk about a solution. A solution is basically just our homogeneous mixture, like the nimbu poni. The most important thing to remember is that the particles of the thing you dissolve, we call that the solute, like the salt, are teeny tiny. They get mixed into the solvent, like the water. They are so small that you can't see them, not even with a microscope. And because they're so tiny, light just passes right through. All right, next up, a suspension. This one's a heterogeneous mixture. Just think about mixing sand in water. Can you see the sand particles? Of course you can. They're quite big. And what happens if you just leave that glass alone for a while? All the sand will settle down at the bottom, won't it? That tells us a suspension is unstable.
And now for the tricky one, the colloid. A colloid is a bit of a sneaky one. It looks homogeneous, just like a solution. Let's go back to our friend, milk. Milk looks perfectly mixed, right? But it's actually heterogeneous. The particles are in this middle ground. They're bigger than in a solution, but smaller than in a suspension. They're just the right size so they float around and don't settle down.
So, if they look the same, how do we catch a colloid? How do we know it's not a true solution? Simple. We use a torch. This cool test is called the Tyndall Effect. See, when you shine a light through a colloid, its particles are just big enough to scatter the light. You can actually see the path of the light beam. But in a true solution, the particles are too tiny, so the light just goes straight through. And look at this. You've definitely seen this in real life. When you're in a forest or a dusty room and you see those beautiful sunbeams streaming in, that's the Tyndall Effect. The tiny dust particles or water droplets in the air are scattering the sunlight, making the beam visible. So cool, right? Okay, bachas, this table right here, this is gold for your exam. Seriously, if you need to, just pause and take a screenshot. It sums everything up perfectly.
Solution: homogeneous, stable, no Tyndall effect. Suspension: heterogeneous, unstable, shows the Tyndall effect. And our tricky colloid: looks homogeneous, it's stable, but it also shows the Tyndall effect. Remember this table and you'll nail this question every time.
All right, so we've talked a lot about mixtures. But what about those things that scientists do call pure? What are they? Let's switch gears and find out.
It's actually pretty simple. Pure substances are of two types. First, you have elements. These are like the Lego blocks of the universe. Oxygen, iron, gold. You can't break them down into anything simpler. Then you have compounds. This is what you get when two or more elements have a chemical reaction and join together in a fixed way. Think of water. It's always H2O. Or table salt. Always NaCl. And that brings us to the final boss battle of this chapter. A super important question for your exams. What exactly is the difference between a mixture and a compound? Let's clear this up once and for all. Okay, check this out. In a mixture, things are just mixed. No new substance is made. The components just keep their own properties. Your nimbu pani still has the taste of lemon and sugar, right? But in a compound, something brand new is formed. The elements react and they create a totally new substance with totally different properties. A classic example: hydrogen gas burns, and oxygen gas helps things burn. But when they combine chemically to make the compound water, what does water do? It puts out fires. See? Completely different. Okay, enough theory. Let's get our hands dirty and actually solve a problem. This is the kind of question you'll definitely see in your exam, so let's do it together. Okay, so here's the question. A solution has 40 grams of common salt dissolved in 320 grams of water. We need to calculate the concentration in terms of mass by mass percentage. Sounds complicated? It's not, I promise. Okay, just 3 simple steps. First, what's the mass of the solute? That's the salt, so it's 40 grams. Easy. Step 2, what's the mass of the solution? Now listen carefully. This is the #1 place where students make a silly mistake. The solution is the solute plus the solvent. You have to add them together. So it's 40 grams of salt plus 320 grams of water. That gives us 360 grams in total. Got it? Then, step 3 is just the formula. Mass of solute divided by mass of the whole solution times 100. So, what do we get? We have 40 divided by 360, and then we multiply by 100. And our answer is 11.1%. That's it. See how simple that was? Just remember to add the solute and solvent for the total mass, and you'll get full marks. Guaranteed. Okay, let's do a super fast recap of everything we learned. Ready? 1. Pure in science means just one type of particle. 2. Mixtures are either homogeneous, like nimbu pani, or heterogeneous, like bellpori. 3. Solutions, suspensions, and colloids are different because of their particle size. 4. Pure substances are either elements or compounds. And 5. Mixtures just mix, but compounds chemically react to make something totally new. Got it? Okay, before we finish, I have a little homework for you, a fun challenge. Just look around your room right now. Can you find 5 things and decide if they're a pure substance or a mixture? What about the plastic of your pen, the glass of water, the air you're breathing? Give it a try. It's the best way to make these ideas stick. You've done an amazing job today, my dear children. All the best for your exams. You're going to do wonderfully.